Hi, my name is Nicole, and I'm a senior at Fordham University in the Bronx, New York. This summer, I was part of a 10-week ecology field research program for undergraduates where I studied the Gray Catbird. Although my research is still being completed, I wanted to show you all my results so far on within-the-season changes in territorial aggression and describe our ongoing project on this under-researched yet highly fascinating bird. If you've ever birdwatched or just lived in America, you may have heard a sound that's kind of like a baby crying or a cat meowing, and this is actually the gray catbird, a highly abundant species in eastern North America. It has a gray body, a black cap, and a rusty red bottom. Although this bird is named after its characteristic cat-like mew, the function of this vocalization and its origin is kind of unknown. In addition to this, catbirds are mimids, but they have a very distinct, more bubbly song that's always changing. Little research has been done on the gray catbird, both its song and its aggressive behavior, which may not be similar to relatives of theirs, such as the northern mockingbird. They're so common, but they have extensive song repertoires, making them ideal songbirds to study further in acoustic ecology experiments. Past research on songs say that complex songs could be used for territorial establishment, mate attraction, or interpair communication. With my project, I wanted to have a better understanding of the song's meanings based on different contexts. To study this, we used playback experiments. We knew that gray catbirds generally tend to establish territories and form mostly monogamous pairs from May to early June, and then rear offsprings from late June to early July. So I thought that comparing aggression with playback experiments and then the early and late season could help us gain a better understanding if songs, mews, and other vocalizations were being used for either nest guarding or mate pairs and territory defense. In our playback experiments, there would first be a pre-playback period for 10 minutes, and then that would be followed by a treatment period of songs, mews, and quats, which is another short vocalizations that catbird makes. This is followed by a post-playback period because catbirds may still react aggressively once the treatment period ends. Our sample size was 13 birds, and a narrator during the experiment would pay attention to aggressive behaviors such as perch switches, close approaches to the decoy, total time singing, number of mews, and approach and vocalization latency, so how long the catbird took to begin responding. After conducting Friedman tests and Wilcoxon sign ranks tests using SPSS, only one of these tests were technically significant at p equals 0.011, which showed that gray catbirds made closer approaches to the decoy in the late season during song treatments. So that was kind of random, although almost all of the other tests did trend to show an effect of the playback. However, this was not extremely different between the early and late seasons as I had traditionally thought it would be. Gray catbirds are responsive, but they just may not be as aggressive in defense as other songbird species. Starting this project, what I was really interested in studying, though, was song complexity and seeing if gray catbirds utilized more complex songs within territory defense. However, I couldn't get to this during the summer because our research collection ended up having about 3,218 songs, and I only had 10 weeks to do all of this project. So I'm going to spend the next few months working on the stage of the project. I'm going to use the program Lucinia to look at song complexity and see if there's a difference between early and late season playbacks or after experiencing songs, which may shed a light on the role of complex songs in mate attraction and maybe even see if it corresponds to a larger territory size, as we also know that because we know the catbird's territories. I also have 14 more playback experiments to analyze for the deer enemy hypothesis, which is essentially wondering if catbirds respond more or less aggressively to territory intrusions from foreign catbirds or catbirds that share a territory border with them or neighbors. So far, we've been noticing that there isn't really a difference between the neighbor versus stranger activity, but there are definitely certain song patterns and certain neighbors that may tend to trigger a greater reaction in catbirds than others, which is very interesting to look into. So this project is definitely still a work in project, but while we are untangling the mysteries of the gray catbird, I'd specifically like to thank my mentor, who is responsible for all of this, our Kornreich and Animal Behavior Live for letting me speak today. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any more questions, you can write them while looking at this catbird named Oaf while he is yelling at me. So thank you so much. Bye.